So this is going to be one of our stations for our 7th and 8th grade group, for boys and girls, and our high school group. On Saturday with our box training program, this drill is called Spotlight One-on-Ones, and it's going to be a little bit of an evolution of the younger, we do this with the younger boys and girls as well. The only difference with this drill as opposed to the younger ages is we're going to initiate it with a pass. So the way the drill is going to be set up, okay, there's not actually going to be an 8 meter, but I want you to kind of visualize one, okay? And for the sake of explaining the drill, I'll kind of leave that arc there for a second. We're going to have a coach in the middle with a bucket of balls. You only need one coach. You're going to have a one-on-one setup on one side, our righty side, and they're going to have a one-on-one setup on this side. Our offensive player on this side is going to have their stick to the inside, which means their stick is going to be in their right hand. All right, so if I'm the offensive player facing the goal, my stick's to the inside, just like that. Stick's in the right hand, okay? On this side of the floor, all right, our offensive player is going to have their stick to the inside, meaning their stick is to the left hand, attacking the goal, just like that. Our defensive player, all right, they're going to start with, let's say 1 foot on that 8 meter with their stick to the inside. All right, so that stick on this side is going to be in their left hand, this side's the right hand. All right, the drill is going to initiate once the coach throws that pass to the offensive player. Okay, so defensively, Bob will get into detail on what we want to see. I'm going to first talk about all of our offensive points of emphasis and how the drill works from an offensive perspective. All right, so the first thing offensively you have to do, being that this is going to come off of a pass and being that there's going to be a defender approaching you, you have to read their approach. All right, are they approaching you nice and low? Okay, are they approaching you nice and high? Are they approaching you straight on? All right, so those are things that you need to read so that way you can decide what you want to do, where you want to go. Now, I'm not a big fan of predetermining where we're going to go on the floor. That's why I think it's important to read their approach. That being said, it's very important to utilize your footwork to get to areas of the field where you're going to be a threat. So what I mean by that is, maybe take a couple steps, or maybe drag your defender down, all right, and try to beat them to the high side, or maybe drag up and try to beat them underneath. So those are a couple things that you can do to try to get by your defender. Now in this drill, you have to have your stick to the inside. Not only do you have to have your stick to the inside, you can't switch hands. So when we dodge, we're not going left to right, right to left. You have to keep the stick on your right hand on this side, have to keep the stick in your left hand on this side. And the reason that we do that is so we're constantly working on shooting with our stick to the inside, so we have a higher angle, and we're also working on dodging with defenders on our back, okay, dodging with defenders on our hands, and it's a really good box skill to, that kind of translates to the field game as well. The last thing I'm going to emphasize offensively is you have 5 seconds to score, which means one move and get to the goal. Don't take 10 moves, don't take too much time, otherwise you're going to end up having someone slide to you, maybe losing the ball, and that's not what we want to teach. We want to teach get to the goal right away. So that's pretty much the points of emphasis from an offensive perspective. And then Bob, you want to talk a little bit about the defense here?
Okay, so on this side here, with the offensive player being right-handed, you're going to be stick on stick, meaning to initiate this drill, you'll come up with your stick upfield. So if I'm guarding Corey, I'm going to be stick to stick on him. My stick is upfield. To go back for a second, while the ball is in the air, we want to use that time to go from being in an off-ball position with our stick in, heels would be on the 8, off ball, seeing our girls, seeing ball. As the ball travels, we want to use that time to close the distance, make a good approach, break down, A, B, right? And C is the contact. You want to establish contact, legal contact, low on the hip if you can, all right, with either your knuckles or your forearm on your bottom hand. The top hand should be back so you're not fouling, okay? And you want to try to drive the ball away from the middle of the field. So you also would try to come up the field in your approach and angle yourself so that you're giving the offensive player the outside as opposed to the inside and making it a lower angle that they run down towards if they're going to become a shooter at some point. So always ABCD, good approach where you close the distance down, you break down, make contact, and then you're dictating or directing where they're going to go. You're not going to let them get back to the inside. You're going to be on that hip and try to drive them down and out, away from the goal. And then on the other side, you'll be the opposite. You're basically coming up the field with your stick in the right hand to match the offensive player's stick, which would be in their left hand. All right, same thing applies though. Good approach while the ball is in the air. You're breaking down, Okay, you're establishing contact with your bottom arm and hand or hand, and your top hand is back. And again, you want to try to drive the player down and away without pushing, because you can't extend, but you can make contact and apply pressure as they're trying to drive in. You're trying to, use your positioning to drive them out and down away from the goal.
So that's Spotlight 101s. After about 6 minutes, we're going to have everyone switch sides. So that way, offensively, you're working on dodging righty and lefty. Defensively, you're working on playing with your stick in your left hand as well as your right hand. And that's basically it.